My gosh, guys, welcome to What Goes On the 17-Year-Old's Minds podcast. Welcome. I'm your host, Denmark. I'm an aspiring creative entrepreneur and a creative director. And I want to dive into a topic called Don't Chase, Rather Attract. Now, we want to get into this topic and we want to make this fast. I want to make these podcasts fast because I also want to make it as impactful. So, okay. What do I mean by don't chase, rather attract? This idea really simplifies. Let's say we're put in a situation, and this situation is where there's two people. I always gonna go with this example where there's two people. There's two people. This one person is chasing opportunities, always chasing and chasing and chasing, and then the other is not necessarily chasing, but is building himself. He's building in a way that he is more authentic to himself. What's the difference between the two? The difference is that the other is chasing opportunities, meanwhile not really reflecting on what's really going on with himself. The other is being himself and eventually attracting those people because of the things he's actually built for himself. Now, the key difference between these two is that this person here chose to attract and this person chose to chase. And I think that it's also good to chase opportunities, to spot on opportunities. That's okay. But the thing is, it always leads to attracting. Opportunities open up when you attract. And those are the times when you attract. Those are the times we don't really necessarily chase. A really good example of this is Naval Ravikant. If you know Naval Ravikant, he's basically a CEO of Angels List, and he's been a investor in Uber and in Twitter, essentially. But essentially, what I'm trying to point out here is Naval Ravikant said is that he's just pulling out opportunities in his ear. He's basically attracting people because once you make a name for yourself, once you just actually build something out of pure authenticity, you actually output way more. Chasing doesn't do anything. Now it's okay to spot opportunities. That's okay. That's good. When you spot opportunities, that's good, and you get into that opportunities. But it's more or less so you're attracting. A really good example of this that people know, like you're really good at math, for example. If they're really good at math, they will more or less come to you, rather than the person who's always like not good at math, essentially, of course. So you see, the idea here is that the person who is good at math attracts people who are more or less needs help for math because they know that this guy is good at math. So it's just a basic thing of attracting. Now, what I mean by this, how can you put this into context on in your life? Basically attracting. Don't keep chasing things. The idea is that you have to build yourself from the ground up. And this idea really compounds as you really do something that you really love doing. That the things that you actually love doing. Like do the things that you do that you are the best at. And the thing is, everyone is so different. We are so designed so differently. God designed us so differently to the point that we are actually the most authentic version of ourselves. And the thing is, the only real competition really is to know yourself even better. Those other people that you know now, like those people who are up there, like Steve Jobs or Tim Cook or Jensen Huang or all these founders or all these people in general, these people know themselves well enough. Like Sam Altman, they know all these people know themselves well enough. They know they're the most authentic version of themselves. They're the most authentic versions of themselves. They never really compare themselves to other people. This is what really makes or breaks a person. This is what really differentiates people. When a person is very much themselves, that's why these billionaires essentially, some of them are called psychopaths. Like Elon Musk is called psychopaths. Some people call him crazy. It's because he's built himself so well, like he is the most authentic version of himself. Now, being the most authentic version of yourself is also bad in a way that if you became so authentic to yourself, you might get lost on yourself. Now, we don't want that. We want to be aware of what's really going on within ourselves, outside of ourselves. So we have to make a system for that. We have to really fix things. And that's a topic for another topic. But essentially, we want to be authentic. And be authentic is the best way to attract people. And now, the media, social media, essentially gives us the ability to become the most authentic version of ourselves. And it's just beautiful how like the medium self, the media, social media, reels, short form content gave us a way to become the most authentic versions of ourselves. That even like some people are building businesses, showing the process of their businesses and inspiring millions and thousands of people to do the same thing. And it's just beautiful that this small amount of community is happening right now. That not just, like not just the bad side of the internet is going on, but there's also a really good side of the internet is really going on. But we have to focus on what's really on the good side of the internet, because that's what pushes us to be the most best version of ourselves. I want to go mention Naval Ravikant again. Is that Naval said that if you cut out all the noise, essentially, like politics and all these noises outside, like social media, cut it all off. We essentially reach this point where we don't essentially, we get to focus on what's really the problem and what's really going on. And I think that's the most important thing, is the ability to cut out the noise when we need to. Of course, we can't cut out the noise completely. We still need the noise. We still need to know what's going on. But when you cut out the noise for a certain particular time, we're able to process what's really in us. A really good example of this is that Albert Einstein likes to ride a bike. And during this ride, when Albert Einstein ride his bike, he just processes thoughts. Actually, Albert Einstein wouldn't just walks. There's times that Albert Einstein walks and his mind floats so his mind just floats away to the point that when he thinks, he doesn't really know what's going on in front of him. And I think when you allow your mind to wander, we are able to express. We are able to become the most authentic version of ourselves. And not only that, it makes us and molds us into really attracting rather than chasing. Because the end goal here is to just attract people, attract entrepreneurs. Like for in my space, I want to be more with entrepreneurs, people who are starting startups, people who are essentially building something to make an impact in the world. And then that's what I want to do. And that's why I'm trying to get my skills right now. I'm trying to get into AI. I'm trying to get to LLMs, general AI, and just in general, also having this really obsessive nature in brand identity and marketing and all these little speedy DD stuff. I also get really into fashion and also really, really into the arts and very creative. And that's where I lean on. And I think that's where I'm really heading towards right now, like the e-com space, or more on the fashion, more on the AI, more of the system and automation, that sort of side, that part of the industry, more on the digital. More or less, I'm not really good at the physical stuff, maybe sometimes. But the thing is, this is a skill. At least I know myself well enough, and this is like the most authentic version I could be. And I know that I could be so much more authentic. I can be so much more authentic, and I just need to really process myself more. I need more time to think. And actually, there's a lot of things that I have in my head right now that I couldn't really put it on a piece of paper right now, and I should be, but I will. That's why I make these podcasts, because one of the reasons why I do these podcasts is because that I can actually review them later and actually learn from myself. Because that's the best way to learn from yourself. You record yourself talking to in front of camera, and then you actually like learn from yourself, and that's just beautiful. I think that people should take the time to just really listen to themselves in front of a camera and yap. I think that's beautiful, and you're gonna learn so much more about yourself, and you can actually implement that in your life more. Like for example, I'm really introduced into this particular interest. Like I should be writing more about this thing in my social media, or like, I'm really into business, and then all these threads and Twitter post I do is essentially about business and about being better version of themselves, because essentially that's what I love. That's what I love doing. And I also really into design and marketing, and I should be, posting more about those, but it's very broad, as you can see. But the thing is, I just want to point that out. And in order to attract, you have to essentially know yourself well enough. And that's the most beautiful part about being authentic, being the most original version of themselves. And this is the main reason why I made these podcasts. It's because to find your authentic taste, to find your authentic self, and then express it to the world that is just so blurred. You don't want this to become a blur to you. You don't want to go like 5 years from now and it's all blur. You have to take the time to just sit down, talk to in front of a camera, or write it all down. Do that. I swear. And it will just make you feel like a better person. And also, I forgot to mention, I'm so sorry, is that you have to strengthen your beliefs, your values. And I really, guys, take the time at your day to just really pray about the things that you're going through. I am so sorry. I almost forgot about that. But hey, guys, please pray about the things that you're going through, all these processes. Remember that all these things are made possible because there is one person above us, but there's a God above us that is helping us make these ideas in our head. This is how beautiful we are made. The design that we are made is made by Him alone, God. And I just want you guys to know that. I know it's just more of like a cliche thing, like, oh, this guy's talking about God again. But please, I'm not making an excuse here, because I really genuinely believe in God, and I believe that God will be able to change your lives. And I hope these podcasts helped you be more open to Christianity and more open to the ideas of God, and trying to mix it with particular worldviews and trying to make it into more of a better and more safer place for Gen Zs and all these, for other generations who are watching this. And thank you guys for really listening to this podcast. I want to make it fast, and I also want to make it expressive. I love how I express myself and how I'm authentic, but that's how you essentially attract, not chase. Because you have to be the most authentic version of yourself. That's the story. That's it. You have to be the most authentic version of yourself. You just have to stand your ground. That's it. Now, I'm going to end this podcast because I know you guys are I don't know if you guys are in a rush, hurry, whatever. Thank you guys for listening for this 30-minute podcast. Oh my gosh, I can't believe that I did this podcast in 30 minutes. It's crazy, right? But I'm a bit energetic today, but I still have a lot of things to do. I actually want to hit a couple rounds in Valorant, but I think that I have priority to do. And I have a test tomorrow, essentially. So I guess no Valorant until Sunday. Yeah, Sunday is a bit of my free time. And also my busiest day. But I allotted some free time for myself to calm down. I also allotted myself some time in Sundays to essentially, think. And it's just a bit of a rest day and also my grind day, just very diverse. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. I'm just crazy stuff happening. I got my vlog coming up soon, guys. You should listen to my vlog. And yeah, see you guys in the next podcast, in the next video vlog. Bye.